Right, it's the end of, what was it, we just finished the 820 turn. And a disastrous turn for the French assault on the Raevsky line. Failure after failure of roll to close. I failed 3 in a row here along the French left of the line. Also over here, my skirmishers have been taking canister fire from these guns overlooking Borodino, so a couple of them are dead, one's disordered, but others will continue to try and flush those guns out. If they can just take another factor off of them each turn, that'll eliminate them. But over here, there's real problems. Two of the battalions routed along the extreme left of the French assault, so that's why that gap is there. The other 2 units were disordered, managed to stay there, took some losses, but didn't inflict any losses on the Russian line, so that's going to be a real problem. I may have to try and extricate those battalions and bring up fresh battalions. Over closer to the Great Redoubt itself, it's kind of a giant scrum of disordered units. There was one French advance on the line, which you can see that disordered unit there. The other French unit that was disordered managed to stay in the line, but the 3rd unit that originally broke through has now routed back across the Kolocha. So hopefully those guys will be able to recover good order in a couple of turns. There is another entire French division here coming up behind to try and continue the assault. I don't think there'll be any going back, so I think the assault will continue as planned. Otherwise, the French would just have to fall back in disorder into Borodino, and I think they can still do some damage to the Russian line. The Italian Guard Division also has not even entered the combat yet, so they can bring more numbers to bear. And then again, here, entering Borodino right now is the 3rd Division of the 1st Corps, so they can be either help out on the French left or go over here and join the 13th Division and the 84th Division of the 4th Corps, which is still sitting over here in this town, waiting to see what these Russian divisions on the Russian right want to do. So that was the big action. Very, very bad turn for the French assault. Hopefully they can try and turn things around the next turn. In the center, still nothing happening here. Sorbier is still advancing the Guard artillery up to create the Grand Battery that will start the artillery assault on the Bagration Fléchés. So that's probably still at least another hour, maybe 2 hours away. I forgot to point out over here, though, Lauriston has finally reached all of the French artillery overlooking Borodino and created a Grand Battery there. Once he gets all that limbered, he'll have to decide what to do with them, try and move them in to the heights overlooking Borodino, where they can potentially be a deterrent to any Russian attempts to exploit a possibly weakened French left after this latest round of assaults. So at least if the French assault collapses entirely, I've got a giant mass of guns waiting for any potential Russian counterattack. Looking at the French right, Poniatowski's troops continue to advance. He's now got one of his Polish divisions, of infantry divisions, has advanced onto the board with their artillery coming up, some good heavy guns. His cavalry has continued moving. They'll be moving up to join all the other assorted 4th Cavalry Corps units that are already up here. So the French right is slowly developing. So again, that's probably also 2 hours away from really being able to form into anything useful. So there we have it. After the 8:20 turn, we will be starting the 8:40 turn and finally taking a look at Army morale, which, given that each of us have lost a couple of units, I think I've lost more overall, may start having an effect on the game. So, looking forward to the next turn.